Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about a fan-made Paper Zelda trailer. They call it a parody, but as Zelda Universe says, it's less of a parody and more of a tribute, because instead of taking their own ideas and making like putting little paper Link through his own adventures, they take memorable moments from a bunch of past Zelda games and put them all together, but in a new Paper Mario style. So to quickly go around, what do you guys think about this? Have you guys seen the trailer? What do you think? How would you feel about a Paper Zelda, like an official Paper Zelda game? Because the thing is, a lot of people might see this and be like, oh, well, that's cool, but Nintendo would never do that, or whatever. But there is, like, the tease from a long time ago when Breath of the Wild released, when Miyamoto and Aonuma were jokingly talking about working on Paper Zelda. I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember that, Daniel? Because we talked about it a few times.
Game Informer interview.
Yeah.
Where the guy just offhandedly asked them a bunch of questions, but one of them was just like, Paper Zelda? And they're like, Paper Zelda? They're kind of joking about it, and I think Aonuma was even wearing a shirt that had a Link Between Worlds link with in his painting form, and he was all like, is this Paper Zelda? But yeah, they kind of offhandedly, they didn't say no, they were just like, well, we're not announcing it right now, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and
you
then
never know.
Later on in the interview, they said that they were working on the next 2D unannounced Zelda game, but they weren't ready to talk about it. But all Aonuma said was that he wants to evolve how people think about 2D Zelda games. And the best way, or the easiest way I could think of to evolve how people think about 2D Zelda would be an actual Paper Zelda. Because that would easily be completely different than anything they've done before. And because the only other way that I could think of is stuff they've already done, which is like after Minish Cap, they went to Phantom Hourglass and the other DS and 3DS top-down Zelda games. But they all had actual 3D models instead of 2D sprites. Like that, in a way, would be evolving what people thought of 2D Zelda. And then A Link Between Worlds again, because not only is it 3D character models, but it also has cutscenes where the camera isn't top-down. It comes around to like show a behind-the-back camera angle of what you would expect from like Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, but with A Link Between Worlds, this 2D top-down Zelda game. And then when you're on the wall, he becomes the painting and the camera comes down and the world again becomes 3D. So they've done it twice to where they've kind of evolved what people thought of 2D Zelda. So to do that again, I don't know how they would really go about it unless they did do something like what is shown in this trailer. But what do you all think about Paper Zelda? Starting with you, Josh, our guest.
Yeah, so I mean, the Paper Mario series isn't a series that I've played an awful lot of. The little bit that I have played, I do enjoy the creativity that Nintendo puts in to that series. And the other thing is like at this point, after like they basically put Zelda into Mario Maker 2, or put Link and Zelda-esque elements into that game, it's kind of like, I don't think anything's off the table at this point. You know, I really don't. And, you know, the only thing, because this year's Mario's anniversary and next year is like Mario's 35th, and isn't next year like Zelda's 35th anniversary or something like that. Yeah. So it would not surprise me at all to see, I don't know that we'll see Paper Zelda necessarily, but if we did, I mean, cool. Let's see what happens and how creative. I know like somebody in chat was saying like that, you know, they hope it's not like Color Splash, because apparently I guess that game didn't go over well with some people or whatever. The little bit that I did play of that one, I didn't seem to mind it, but I don't have the others to really compare it to be like, oh, I understand. You know what I'm saying? So like the more the merrier, right? If this is such a beloved series, I mean, we've seen some We've seen some great, like the music Zelda game that came out, right? What, Cadence of Hyrule, or is that what it was called?
Oh yeah, Cadence of Hyrule. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, I'm like, what? Why not bring it on? Let's go.
Yeah. No, I mean they could do it. Nintendo's such a wild card. They could do anything.
I'm still here. I just had to do something real quick.
Keep going. As soon as Link was in Mario Kart, it's like, what is happening now? I think like maybe a decade ago, it would be like a firm like, no, they're never going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've just been surprising us with weird crossovers, like Link and Mario Kart, Hyrule Warriors happening,
right?
Letting indie developers take on pretty much a new Zelda game with Cadence, like. I don't think anything's off the table for Nintendo. It's so hard to be to ever say Nintendo wouldn't do that, unless you're saying like, oh, making online functionality good. But otherwise,
isn't the teams behind Xenoblade, aren't they working on? Yeah, aren't they working on some kind of Zelda RPG also?
I don't know about that. I know they worked on helping with Breath of the Wild's world design.
Yeah, let me do a quick.
They developed the Monolith Soft. They developed their Xenoblade team. A huge group of them worked on Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. They did so well that Nintendo kept having them work on DLC. They gave free DLC as like a thank you to help promote Xenoblade, which is why we had the crazy Xenoblade DLC for Breath of the Wild, where it's just a quest you're in around, and then you could have a Xenoblade outfit on Link during Breath of the Wild. And that was all free DLC just to promote Xenoblade. But then Breath of the Wild, after it sold so well, and Nintendo was like, oh wow, well, they really did really well working on Breath of the Wild. So then Nintendo had Monolith Soft, a third party, create their own dedicated Zelda team. So now not only do they basically like hired a bunch of new people and then split the team into two teams, to where there was the original Xenoblade team and now there's the Zelda team, which I guess is all the people that worked on Breath of the Wild. But it isn't clear if they're working on something entirely new, a crossover, because Nintendo seems to be doing every kind of crossover you can think of now, with like the Mario Cross Rabbids, Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, Cadence of Hyrule. They have the Mario 2D puzzle game that's on smartphones and that was on 3DS. There's the Fire Emblem Pokemon crossover. I think it's Fire Emblem. It's a game like Fire Emblem.
I don't know.
But they're doing so many crossovers, so it could be Nintendo also lately loves doing remakes, so it could literally be anything. They could be making a brand new Zelda game, they could be making a new Zelda game with a twist, so it could be like a brand new game, but it's just a spin-off. It could be a remake. It could be like porting Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to the Switch. It could be a crossover game. It could be literally anything. They could just have their own official team just to help out with Breath of the Wild 2. It could literally be anything. We don't know. But it is cool to try to think about what exactly they would be doing.
And the tweet came out March 27th, 2019 from Monolith Soft, where they were basically with the link to their recruitment page. Which had I mean, modeling artists, animation artists, effects artists, character control programmers, tools programmers, framework programmers. I mean, the list goes on and on. The DualShockers article that I have here says, tweeted today that the studio is looking to recruit multiple experienced developers to work on a new game, part of the Legend of Zelda series. But again, we don't have any definite or any firm answers. So
yeah,
wild.
And I would also like
to. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, you go.
I was gonna say, it's probably just like a really classic case of Nintendo being like, hey, we have all of these projects going on and we're not going to talk about any of them until literally right now. We're dropping the trailer. It comes out next month.
Yeah, true.
But
true. How many times in a direct have they been like, and this game comes out later today? we're like Yeah.
So with the Paper Zelda thing, the last thing that I would like to say is that like Nintendo, with Super Mario Odyssey, for instance, they took a lot of ideas from past Zelda games and put them all together in Mario Odyssey, to where a Link Between Worlds, to where Link could go to like a 2D painting on the wall. Now Mario does that, but instead of a painting, he turns into the 8-bit Mario. Minish Cap had the hat that would talk to Link and guide him through his adventure. Mario Odyssey, Mario has a hat that talks to him, guides him through the adventure. Phantom Hourglass and some of the other, I think maybe there's one other game to where, just using Phantom Hourglass, Zelda could go into one of the enemies and you could take control of that enemy. It was just the guard at the time.
That's Spirit Tracks.
Oh, Spirit Tracks. Phantom Zelda, that was like your companion character. Now in Mario, your companion character, you throw your hat to them and once again you become that character. But instead of just one specific enemy, it's all enemies. So where they've taken a bunch of these cool aspects from past Zelda games and put them inside a Mario game, it would be cool to take a past Mario game, like a unique idea from a past Mario game, and then put that into a Zelda game. And if that is Paper Mario and putting that into Paper Zelda, I think that would be really cool. But I would also really love to see like a Mario RPG type thing, but like a Zelda RPG. But that's just like if they asked me what kind of like weird spin-off would I like, that's what I would go with. But yeah, so yeah, Tubes, Daniel, do you guys have anything else
other than this Paper Zelda trailer that's fan made by this 64-bits guy? You guys haven't watched it, right? You guys should. I'm so impressed with just how fluid those animations are and how like well put together that trailer is. And it's just a series of nods to past Zelda games, and even Zelda 2, which is often overlooked. And it's so well done. Like when I watched it back when it was first posted, I was blown away. I was like, this looks so well done. It looks official. Like it looks like the real thing. That's how well done it is. So just give that guy that made that trailer some serious love if you haven't. I mean, he's clearly not hurting. His video's got almost 300,000 views, but with 32,000 thumbs up and only 77 thumbs down. So it's a pretty great ratio. So like I don't know who would thumbs down it ever, because it's so well done, but it's well deserved, the love that he's gotten for that one. It's really high quality stuff, and it's amazing how one person can put together something that well done, you know what I mean? So that's really all I have to say about it. Is just I'm impressed mostly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I was gonna say, like, what Daniel said was the way that, like, the nods to, like, all of the other Zelda games I thought was really cool and really well done, and that was a big drawing point to that trailer for me. The other thing I wanted to say as well is, I've probably mentioned it on a previous podcast, is that, like, Nintendo going out and doing all of these really cool things and all of these partnerships and working with companies that they normally wouldn't work with is because Nintendo has come to a point where they're like, Nintendo is no longer competing with PlayStation or Xbox. That's, like, they've already come out and said that. That's not their competition. Their competition at this point is time. So if you wonder why things like Netflix aren't on Nintendo Switch, it's because they're competing with time. They want you to be playing their games instead of watching Netflix. So I think to be bringing all of these other factors and elements in is just them really wanting to be able to reach out to so many different audiences, and then also kind of have that nostalgia factor that, like, drives it home for people. And that was, like, the last, like, training session I ever had at Nintendo, where they said straight up, they're like, we're only competing with time. should we move on? You guys are all.
No, no,
Yeah,
like
I guess so.
I don't know. I was waiting for someone else to say something. I guess we were all waiting.
You guys all just like.
If I start talking, I don't shut up, so that's why I just like to wait, because it's just the podcaster me will go on and on and on. So
The exit stage. Right, that's right for me.
Which would be stage left. It's stage right from the audience perspective. Oh,
excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was the weird thing with me. I had something similar that 𝐓𝐻𝐼𝐺 did. Whenever I was texting the guy, the producer for the Zelda Symphony, and when Daniel and I first
Michael
met,
Paul.
yeah,
3 first names.
when Daniel and I first started the podcast, we got some tickets to go interview him and some of the other people that was there. But he told me to like, he sent me a text. He's like, yeah, just come meet me at stage left. And I'm like, but like, from where I'm looking, or like, from where like you like what? Like, which way's left?
Oh my goodness!
I had one of those moments.
He does not. He is so not what I expected when I met him, because you see this symphony, everybody's dressed, all the people in the symphony, the conductor, everyone, they're all dressed to the nines, like it's such a legit symphony. And we were at this very I think it was Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Vancouver here, but it was a really fancy pants venue that we're at. And then he's wearing like these neon Nikes. Like he just was so not what I expected when I met him. But it was a very chill dude. He was a really cool guy.
He could have been wearing toe shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have canceled the interview. I said, it's a privilege and an honor to be here, but I cannot. I cannot continue. No, absolutely.
He just
not.
waves with his toes when you leave.
Yeah, exactly. No, I can't judge a man by his shoes. That's not fair.
Yeah, not after that one, hey? You're just like, you know what? All shoes are game unless they're toe shoes.
I was so nervous though when I went to do that interview, because you can't tell in the video because it's off screen, but my knees were shaking. Like I was like so nervous. We got to go like up on the stage and do it and everything, and it was like they're just like taking the stage down. He's like, let's just do it right here, and I'm like, I feel like we're so in the way in the middle of everything. It's so out in the open, but it was really cool. You can't tell in the interview at all in the video.
It's such a bummer that like I wasn't part of the crew at that point, because when I worked at Nintendo, I actually worked with one of the girls that does she helps train and she does singing for that symphony, and so she travels all over for it because she works at Nintendo as well. So when you guys told me about that, I was like,
they were here in Vancouver. You could have come. At that point. No, it was really cool though. It was cool, but I digress. We're getting off topic. Sorry, Jesse.
No, it's fine. We just have the Q&A, so
we don't have any questions.
Do we have any cues? No, I got a couple from the old Discord. I'm gonna check again.
All right, Daniel, you will go first. Then, when
I will go first.
Yeah, after the intro for it.
Sure.
So find your question, since you're the question man.
Question.
Yeah. It's like when you were streaming Majora's Mask the other day. And you were with Cafe looking into the Curiosity Shop,
right?
Waiting on the Curiosity Man. Well, now like we're all looking at you for the questions.
Except I'm not peddling stolen goods like the Curiosity Shop.
Are you sure? Have you seen your background?
I'm sure. I can assure you, I have no stolen goods.
Daniel was the one who robbed that infamous amiibo truck long ago when they first came out. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Bags.
It was like a Walmart truck or something was stolen just specifically for the amiibo. To resell the amiibo online, because all the amiibo were going for like ridiculously high prices.
Mm-hmm. I recall.
It is insane. Anyways,
but I mean, you guys keep poking at my collection. I know for a fact Josh has a bigger amiibo collection than I do. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, every amiibo still in the box.
He has all of them, guys.
Are you sure you didn't hoard
Every
them all?
amiibo.
Dang, Josh, get it.
Yeah, and I guess I'm missing the 2 Skylander amiibo. If you're talking about North America releases, those are the 2 I'm missing. But
Wait. So you can help me with this. I told Daniel like a few weeks ago or something about the amiibo for Skylanders. That was like
right.
Donkey Kong and the other one.
Bowser.
Bowser. That could like switch between an amiibo and a Skylander
we were
thing.
having this conversation, yeah.
And I think it was Daniel was telling me like that doesn't exist. That was a fever dream you had. And
I
I'm
was
like, no,
wrong.
they exist.
I
Like,
looked it up.
they're
I was
real.
wrong. I admit it. I admit it.
We both said that it was a fever dream because I think that was on the last podcast I was on.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
no, I
like,
was
I
wrong.
did not
Admit it.
imagine this. Like, because I remember, like, I wasn't excited when I seen it. I was kind of bummed out. I was like, this? Like, I guess that's all right, but I don't want to buy Skylanders just to play as Bowser.
Not only do they exist, but there's 2 versions of each one too. So there's you got to get. I think there's one that you have to get like in a special edition. They're like in black costumes, and then there's also the regular colored one as well. So yeah.
All right. So with everyone, please have your questions ready in the live chat. We will get to them after we do a couple of the questions from the mailbag. So